Hey, it's Ed from Instant Physio. I'm just going to talk to you now about why 2020 has been such a challenge for people's backs and why it's been such a challenge for our bodies as well. It's been such a unique year in such a lot of ways, but obviously from my point of view, from Steve's point of view, we look at it as how does it affect people's bodies, how does it affect people's routines, and what are we seeing in the clinic every day as well. And one of the big ones this year was because there was such a radical change in people's routines. A big one was exercise routine. So normally people might go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, do a mix of exercise. Lockdown caused people to just be able to do either one or two things, which is either running like mad every day just to make yourself feel good, or just doing HIIT classes. And obviously there's other types of exercises as well, but those two in particular where it's kind of pedal to the metal and your body doesn't have a huge amount of chance to recover, caused a lot of issues for quite a few of our patients, where that huge spike in loading is what we call it in sport, which is going from not a huge amount of that kind of exercise to then doing almost every day in such a short space of time and for a sustained period of time, caused effectively just overload through the lower back especially. And another big factor was, again, the kind of stress and sleep side of things. For a couple of our patients, one chap who'd been furloughed and then lost his job, he had been absolutely fine up until that point, but he had that stressful episode in his life. Luckily he managed to get a job at the end, but to trigger this kind of chain of events, like he started to exercise like mad, didn't sleep very well because he was stressed, started to kind of look for a job frantically on the internet, hunched over at his desk. And all of those different factors led to his back getting way too overloaded, basically. So, the stress was maybe the root cause of him changing his behaviours, and then it resulted in his back getting overloaded effectively. So, they're the two most radical changes that I saw in terms of people's routine for 2020. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, so I agree with all those points, and I think the other things I may mention would be the change in people's step count. So I think we can often undervalue or underthink about how much activity we actually get just from getting to and from work. So it might be a 20-minute commute to work in the morning, and just walking to the tube station, going up and down flights of stairs. Our body's moving, and it needs that to stay healthy. And I think the other thing that was a big change was people set up at home. Obviously a lot more people are working from home now, and the way they're set up at their desk is most of the time has changed a little bit, and where this wouldn't be necessarily the driving factor behind someone's back pain, it can sometimes be the straw that broke the camel's back. So for the fellow that Ed was mentioning before, he had a lot of those factors going on in the background, which had stirred things up, and then he'd been at his desk basically, or working at his kitchen table for quite a while, and just not being set up in a good position there with all those other factors kind of created the perfect storm for him and really kicked things off with his back pain. So I think there are definitely two things to be aware of as well.
Yeah, 100%. And it's very easy to get caught on just thinking, I need a new chair, I need a Theragun, or I need something to get my symptoms feeling better. But what we tend to do is really look at the bigger picture of what's going on with that individual, and it's what they do a lot in sport now as well. People like Ronaldo sleeps twice a day because sleep is such an important factor for things like back pain, and that's what we really look at. When people come in, and what is going on with their lifestyle, which can be impacting on how their body's behaving and what they're doing with their training schedule as well.